And welcome back to CDN Precision. Today we're going to be reviewing the most popular long-range budget precision rifle on the market. So the Remington 700 has been around for way too long. And in my opinion, it's time maybe somebody dethroned this king. So we're looking at the Remington 700 SPS Tactical. In the US, it retails around $950 and in Canada about $1,300. And the SPS stands for Special Purpose Synthetic. The Remington 700, being released in 1962, hasn't seen all that many revisions. And in 2012, they released the Remington 700 SPS Tactical, being this exact configuration, and it hasn't really seen any changes. Now, in my opinion, before we kind of get this all started, Remington is a bit like Ruger when it came to the Ruger 1022. They released in its original configuration and kind of were very, very slow to kind of come out with any factory improvements. And now I think Ruger has really done an amazing job in coming out with their carbon, which weighs like 3.5 pounds, and doing a ton of upgrades on everything else. I think Remington should kind of follow suit because they're still giving this a Remington 700 Special Purpose Synthetic for $950 US or about 1,300 Canadian, which in my opinion, there's a lot of other companies offering more. You can get it chambered in .308 Winchester, .223, 300 Blackout, and 6.5 Creedmoor. This one specifically is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, and it weighs 7.5 pounds. So the barrel is a 22-inch, has 5R rifling, has carbon steel. It's a heavy contour barrel that is a 1 1/8-inch twist for the 6.5 Creedmoor. The most important thing people are going to be looking at when it comes to this rifle is going to be the accuracy, and that's what we're going to touch on immediately. So we tested 9 different types of match ammunition. Our best 3-shot group is 0.31 inches, which is bloody amazing. And our average out of the 9 different types of ammunition for the 3-shot groups was 1.1, which is really, really good because I have a whole spreadsheet of all the rifles I've reviewed, and 1.1 is considered very good for an average. And we have 4 of these groups that are under 1 inch. So let's get started with the worst and work our way to the best. The 127 grain LRX BT Barnes VorTX 2.09 inches. I actually never get really good groups with that, with like any of my rifles. The Berger 144 grain LR Hybrid Target 1.72 inches. The Federal Premium Gold Medal Sierra 140 grain 1.43 inches. Nosler Match 140 grain 1.05. Now what I've actually noticed is there's a Nosler Match and there's the Nosler Match RDF. The RDF, I've seen it work really, really well in a variety of different rifles, and that's actually one ammunition I want to try in the Remington 700 next time. The Hornady 120 grain ELDM, our 3-shot group is 1.02 inches. Barnes Precision Match 140 grain OTMBT 0.94. Barnes VorTX 120 grain TTSX BT 0.84 inches. And the Hornady 140 grain ELD, these tend to work quite well in, I'd say, the majority of the rifles, 0.53 inches. Hornady 147 grain ELD, our 3-shot group, was 0.31, and our 4th shot brought it to 0.95. Now, normally in my more, I guess, recent reviews, we go beyond like 3 shots, but only if the 3-shot group was below 1 inch, and then we put a 4th shot, and if that's below 1 inch, we put a 5th shot, and so forth. And that's kind of how I find we get a better idea of how generally consistent a rifle is going to be. I mean, the average, 1.1 is actually really good. That gives us a good indication that this barreled action is not a lemon, which in my opinion, this one is actually not. Now, next I'd like to point out that this rifle, it doesn't come with a rail, so that's an added expense. You're going to be looking at another, I think it's about $80-something for an MDT rail. I put a 20 MOA MDT rail, and actually you can find these at cdnprecision.com. That's actually my website. That's how we make all these videos happen. That's how we purchase this rifle and get an unbiased review done on it. And if you're looking for optics, actually, for example, we have the Discovery ED-PRS 525x56. This optic is great for long-range PRS. It has 36 mils of internal adjustment, has 10 mils per revolution, has a 0 stop. It's got ED glass. It's got a Christmas tree-style illuminated reticle. It has a lifetime warranty. It's fulfilled by yours truly here at cdnprecision.com. We also sell carbon fiber shooting tripods from Sunway Photo, and we have the Athlon Rangecraft. So if you want to support us and help keeping these videos, well, making it so we can buy these and review them ourselves, that's how you can do so. So anyway, let's keep going with the review. The action itself, as we mentioned, does not come with a rail. It's a 2-lug design. It's a 90-degree throw. And in my opinion, I mean, for a tactical rifle, this bolt needs to be longer. So we looked at the Savage 110 Tactical, and that bolt is like literally like this long. It's big and fat, and it allows you to get away from the ocular. So if I had this scope on here, you're noticing that, oh man, that is ridiculously close. I mean, I can operate it with my fingers, but like if I was cycling it like a normal person normally would be, my thumb is really brushing up against the ocular, so not ideal in my opinion. That could have been something. You know, this has been around since 2012, the special purpose synthetic tactical. Why wasn't this revisited? There's no excuse in my opinion. It's I'd say so-so, not very smooth in terms of the action itself. There's many other options that are from different brands, like the CZ600 that are like buttery smooth. Even the Savage 110, much smoother. They should be doing something about this. In terms of reliability, so we did have 1 failure to extract and 2 failures to eject. Then again, after this rifle was, I'd say, significantly more broken in, we really haven't seen all that many more issues since then. So it's kind of made itself more reliable. Next, let's look at the trigger. So this is an adjustable trigger between 3 and 6 pounds. There was a 1/10 of a pound variance, which is really good. Most factory triggers, you're gonna see like a 1/2 pound variance. So it could just be this one sample, and this is actually something I'd like to mention, is we have a sample of 1 for the purpose of this review. It doesn't always mean that they're going to be all this good. They could all be terrible, or this could be the very best in like out of 10 that somehow I ended up buying. But anyway, it's just to give you an idea. Watch all the reviews you can before deciding on buying one of these. And also, for the purpose of this review, this is a post-bankruptcy model. So this is basically the most modern Remington 700 currently on the market until they finally make some changes and upgrade it. So the trigger's not bad. It's good when it comes to variance, but it only goes as low as 3 pounds, which in my opinion, great for hunting, but not what you want on a precision rifle. On every precision rifle that I own, I want around 1.5 pounds, nothing lower and nothing higher. This gives you a solid stop and a clean break. So that would obviously be something I'd be replacing. And a lot of the time, the people buying the Remington 700 SPS Tactical, they're buying it to basically strip out of its stock, take off the trigger, throw on a Trigger Tech or a Cadex trigger, throw this in an MBT chassis. Its goal is usually not to stay in this configuration. It's a good platform to build off of, but not really in terms of just leaving it like this. This is kind of where you start. This is not usually where it ends. Next, let's talk about the stock. So this is the Hogue Overmold stock. It is aluminum pillar bedded, which is the bare minimum. Some stocks, I think it was like the Mossberg Patriot, aren't even aluminum pillar bedded. At least the one we have is not. And that really just doesn't put, it means like they just cheaped out. But they at least have aluminum pillar beds in the stock, which is good enough, I guess. The stock comes with a hinged floor plate. Again, great for hunters that want that peace of mind knowing that they never have to forget that magazine, but for tactical shooters, I mean, I guess you can just sing a feed, it'll be fine. And at $1,300 Canadian, I mean, you can do better. You can do a lot better. You know, for example, you can find a Savage 110 Tactical that takes the ICS magazines, has aluminum mini chassis inside the stock. It has adjustability in terms of comb height. This thing has nothing. Literally nothing. I mean, it has the swing swivel studs on the front and back, but that's it. That's all you get. So there's really not a whole lot to say about the stock. So in terms of aftermarket support, there's everything. Triggers, stock. This is the rifle that basically built the aftermarket section for rifles. Everything is made for Remington 700. Lastly, the warranty. So I'm just going to read this part verbatim. Remington Arms LLC has elected not to provide a written warranty, either limited or full, rather than to attempt to comply with the provisions of the Douglas-Moss Act and the regulations issued thereunder. There are certain implied warranties under state law with respect to the sale of consumer goods. Firearms were returned to Remington Arms for service will be evaluated to determine if service will be provided at a fee or free of charge. And also to point out is they will not be honoring the pre-bankruptcy models warranty. So you're on your own for those. Then again, I'm really not all that worried. You know, Remington 700s have been around since 1962. Not a whole lot of things can go wrong. I mean, some accuracy, there's sometimes issues with accuracy, head spacing and such, and those are things you might typically want to go to a gunsmith, but usually those things present themselves immediately. You know, you bring it to the range for the first time, you have, let's say, a 12-inch group, you're obviously going to want to make sure that the torque settings on your rail are correct, the rings are correct, your scope is of good quality, everything is tightened down, such as the action screws, and trust me, for myself, I have seen this again and again, and usually more often than not, it comes down to someone forgetting to tightening something down. So like when you buy a factory rifle and it comes with this scope, Most of this stuff is finger tight, and it will be giving you about 8 to 12 inch groups. So tighten everything down properly, get yourself a torque wrench, something like a fix-it sticks kit. That's actually what I have with me all the time. So anyway, the Remington 700 SPS Tactical, in my opinion, is a decent option. There's better options, especially when you're already thinking you might be upgrading. So for example, let's just take this in comparison with one of my favorites, the Bergara B14 HMR. So the B14 HMR is a Remington 700 footprint barreled action. It's not interchangeable with barrels, but the footprint for the action itself is. So it can go in any chassis, but then again, the chassis that the Bergara B14 HMR comes with is actually really good. Has adjustable comb height, adjustable length of pull with spacers obviously, takes AICS magazine, it's buttery smooth, the trigger's really good, and the accuracy is also really good. What's the change in price point? So these, again, we mentioned $1,300 Canadian. The Bergara, $1,500 Canadian. So for $200 more, you get all that. That's why I probably wouldn't be buying this as my first budget bolt action precision rifle, because normally you're buying this, you are going to be upgrading, and just for a little bit more you get a whole lot more. So anyway, thanks for watching CDN Precision. If you want to support me, support the channel, be sure to check out our website at cdnprecision.com.